Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, Coca-Cola James, alongside Tequila Calico, who may or may not be joining us later, probably not, but who is here, Mountain Dew Scooter.
Hey, hey!
And it was a good week for Wrestling Wit, as we interviewed Fox, the originally formerly known as Foxy, now known as just Fox, on Monday, Honest John in an honest interview on Tuesday, and Izzy B on Wednesday. Three incredible interviews. Definitely go into the archives and check those out. This upcoming Tuesday for WrestleMania weekend, we have Lizardman Nathan Niles in his first ever interview. Definitely an interesting one. In the Chicago area. And you definitely want to see what the Lizard Man has to say in his first ever interview. On Wednesday, we have Zeke Andino, the Dark Horse, an Australian wrestler who is now making his name in Japan. We talk about that, wrestling in Corrigan Hall, almost retiring, and competing for Black and Brave and the Fale Dojo in New Zealand. You could check out all of that and much more, but don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now. Will we be getting new mask designs in the future?
I have yet to order one. I have a Rey Mysterio, tribute mask.
Ooh.
Because WrestleMania 22 is my all-time favorite, which so happened to happen in Rosemont, Illinois, right? That's right. That's where I grew up, right? So yeah, I got a tribute mask coming. I have no idea when. But yeah, that's the only new design I have coming.
Okay.
Those moments are super fun because you can sort of be in the moment, and that's where like the magic sort of happens, where you're living in the moment and you're soaking it in as it happens. And yeah, I remember Santa had some milk with him, and the first thing that came to mind was doing the Stone Cold Clash of Beers on the top rope. So I got 2 glasses of milk or whatever it was, and I looked at Marek Brave, and he shook his head saying no because the milk would have stained the ring. But I was like, I'm going home in a few days anyway, so I'll leave it to the other boys to suffer. And I did the Stone Cold thing with the milk, and that was that.
And then on the 9th, we have Nair Robles. On the 10th, Aisha Raymond. The 16th, Joey Mayberry. The 17th, Mitch Clark. The 23rd, Olivia Vale. 24th, Christara. 29th, which is a Monday, another Monday interview, Celine Gray. On the 30th, we have Sexy Eddie, and then on May 1st, we have Psycho Boy Fado. So yeah, April is already looking up to be a big month for Wrestling Wit, as you could tell from our interviews. And I did forget to mention, we also have a special watch-along next week as well. We are having our returning guest, Sebastian Seabast Finn, come on the show and watch along his match from the New Japan Dojo against Bateman. And you could check that out on April 5th, I believe, yes. April 5th, for WrestleMania weekend. You know, we try to do some special things, and sometimes things don't come together, but sometimes things do, and it ends up being an incredible moment for the show. So definitely check that out on Friday. Alright, I think we're done putting ourselves over. No, Scooter?
I'd say so.
Alright, a little bit of interesting news I found this week. NXT Battleground was supposed to be in Georgia on March 26th. Maybe May 26th. I'm getting my days confused here. But that has now been canceled, and it will take place at the UFC arena at the Apex in Las Vegas. I believe June 6th, I believe? I could be wrong on that. Why do you, in your opinion, why such the sudden change with this NXT event?
God, you know, I'm not sure. It's very peculiar. Maybe it's got something to do with competition. I guess they wanted. Was there something scheduled around Savannah at that time?
I'm trying to look up myself, but I don't see anything that would have, you know, that would have made it, you know, jump so drastically from. I mean, I don't have a map in front of me, but Georgia is a long way from Las Vegas.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, it was supposed to be on May 26th. It has moved to June 9th. And will take place at the UFC Apex. It's a venue that holds up to a capacity of 500 people. So maybe not necessarily, they don't necessarily have the most faith in the NXT superstars to draw more than 500, even though they have done pretty sizable and decent numbers on some of their pay previews as of late. Well, at least the last couple of years. Do you think it was just a scheduling conflict, or is there maybe something more in the works here?
No, there's... I'm guessing it's got something to do with, I guess, Heatwave being the next month? I'm not sure.
Well, keeping on the topic of NXT, Carmello Hayes is scheduled to make a main roster debut after Stand and Deliver for WrestleMania weekend. I was kind of under the impression that he was already on the main roster. He made many of appearances for Raw and SmackDown. I wouldn't necessarily say that it was the most what would be the word, interesting debut, but kind of re-debuting him, is it a good idea, or is it going to kind of fall to the wayside like it did the last time?
I mean, I can't remember if Carmelo was actually drafted, so to speak. But I mean, fans are gonna know him, quite honestly. I mean,
I think they know who he was. He's been on this show quite some time.
yeah. It's, oh man. I would assume maybe even Trick go with him? No.
There was a rumor that when Trick does come to the main roster, they would continue a rivalry. I think it maybe would be the best idea to re-debut him, considering how lackluster his original run was at this point. You know, Carmello is better as a heel than he is as a face.
Yes.
So, you know, being that cocky heel works for him a lot better than being that, you know, white meat baby face that they tried to present him as. That just kind of fell to the waist, if I'm being honest. Does he go to, he originally was on SmackDown. Does he go back to SmackDown, or is there better room for him on Raw?
I would think, oh god, that's a tough one, isn't it? Considering we just had
I mean, Braun Breaker and Cargill
is on
SmackDown.
Or SmackDown, so it would make sense for them to go to for Carmelo to be part of Raw.
Unless they want him to join that faction that Bobby Lashley is heading right now, the Ouchie Club, or whatever it's called.
God, I forgot what he was calling it. Dang.
Proud and Powerful?
Was it Proud and Powerful?
No. Definitely wasn't Proud and Powerful. I mean, if they go that route, then it wouldn't necessarily benefit Carmelo all that much, but we'll kind of see where that leads. On the opposite end of the spectrum on Raw, Cody Rhodes bled. It was definitely, somewhat of an event. It definitely got people talking. The Rock attacked Cody Rhodes as Raw was going off the air, screaming at him, "Mama Rhodes, Mama Rhodes." He slammed him into his truck that had his dog on it. It was raining, so you know it was dramatic, and Cody bled. It's not something WWE has done a lot in the last maybe 2 decades at this point. So what are your thoughts on Cody Rhodes bleeding on Raw?
If we want to get really technical, he bled while outside of the building, so this was the most Attitude Era Raw since the Attitude Era ended. I'm kind of pissed at The Rock for faking it seemed like he was going to throw Cody over.
Yeah, it did seem that way a couple of times.
And then just, no. Throwing somebody into a bus is apparently more effective than throwing them over the side of something 6 feet above the ground.
Well, I mean, he doesn't want to kill him, Scooter. That would be bad PR.
I want to know what Rock said to him. I would bet Rock said, "I just crop dusted you."
I think it was.
That drive by.
From what I'm hearing, he told him, "I'm making Black Adam too, bitch."
They give us the meme fuel, don't they?
Oh yeah.
They really do.
It was a fine day on Reddit that day. Well, that night, I should say. I find it interesting that we're talking about Cody bleeding on Raw. You know, it's somewhat of an event now. And AEW, John Moxley bleeds every week. That's just Wednesday at this point. So it just shows you how effective sparingly using blood can actually make a moment more significant. And you know, it keeps the risk of airborne diseases at a minimum as well. So that's good, right?
Yeah. I mean, part of me was really surprised to see Rock actually doing the work here.
You mean get physical?
I mean, with stuff involving somebody like The Rock, somebody who's on a pedestal, like The Rock is, getting their hands dirty, so to speak, is, I mean, 9 times out of 10, out of the question.
Right. I wouldn't necessarily say he got physical, per se. It was more or less him just beating up Cody Rhodes.
I mean, that's why I said 9 times out of 10, there'd be nothing physical whatsoever until the match.
Right.
But, you know, The Rock actually stepping in to, you know, try something to put you know, a stop to the story prematurely it's kind of great storytelling when you look at it. I mean, how many times did The Rock get physical for John Cena? Aside from, you know, Survivor Series and, you know, anything else. Rock and Cena barely even touched each other before the match.
That's a good question. I don't believe they did.
Yeah. Again, the closest they came was the tag team match against Awesome Truth at Survivor Series.
Right.
So, this is layered storytelling in terms of what it means for Cody, what it means for The Rock, and what it means for Roman. Cody is able to ruffle The Rock's feathers to such a degree that he actually gets him to attack something he hasn't done in over 20 years, really, when you think about it. is behind it. You know, sending the famous cousin to do the work to assert his dominance, and again then for The Rock, who is kind of telling us multiple things. The Rock might actually be worried, which is why he's doing what he's doing, or that The Rock and Cody are really selling it for Roman.
Like you said, it was a very attitude era, like, esque Raw. I mean, even the staging area was very different than what we've seen on WWE TV for quite some time.
Yeah, it was a live event screen.
Yeah,
Basically.
I don't think there was any, I heard anything that it was, that, like, the trucks didn't come in or anything like that.
Yeah, there was no, there's no, like, side setup or, column, setup for the Tron. Just that flat, two-screen setup, which, when you really, like, look at it, I mean, it's effective. It's not overly flashy. It's concise and to the point. It's like that little mini Tron that used to have one solitary logo on it as they entered the ring, and you got lucky if they were able to use it in a storyline to begin with. That 4x4 screen that would load in one screen at a time, like on old game shows and Jeopardy. Less is more.
Right. I agree. It was subtle, but like you said, effective. I liked having the smaller, Tron. Maybe they won't do that all the time because, not every show is going to be, a 20,000 seat sellout. They're getting pretty damn close week to week. I will say that. But, when you could sell more of a crowd, and there is a crowd to actually sell, take note of that, AEW, why not sell them off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of shows you how effective that Raw was, considering that when was the last time we've talked about a single episode of Raw on this show? I don't want to say ever because we did used to do reviews of Raw, but I mean in a while. Like, when was the last time we did that? I certainly don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Well, keeping on Raw and, people on it, Drew McIntyre has not signed a contract with WWE right as of this recording, if you believe rumor and innuendo. It does seem like it's only a matter of time rather than if there is a question mark there, no?
Yeah. I think Drew is already re-signed. trying to
create buzz.
really milk it for all it's worth. I mean, I assume since we're talking McIntyre, part of me wonders about that promo battle between him, Punk, and Rollins from this past Monday, and what we can read into it in terms of, does this show us that Drew is re-signed? Does it show us that Drew doesn't want to resign?
I mean, they wouldn't have. The way I look at it is, they wouldn't be promoting a CM Punk Drew McIntyre rivalry if Drew didn't resign. Obviously Punk is not ready to, wrestle yet. But when he is, the program is going to be with McIntyre.
But Punk is the commentary. Punk is going to be on commentary for the match.
Right. But, like, what I mean is, when he does actually get in the ring, whenever that may be, the contract comes up after WrestleMania. So you wouldn't be making sorts about antagonizing CM Punk if you wasn't going to have a match at, let's say, a Money in the Bank or a SummerSlam. So it does seem like he's sticking around from that perspective, in my mind.
Yes. If there is anything to Drew not signing, presumably, I'm going to assume that Punk will get back in the ring sooner rather than later.
I mean, considering that he has been on TV a lot lately, then I would say that's an accurate statement.
If you look at the cast that was on his arm this past week, it wasn't a cast; it was a brace.
Right.
And it was. I don't want to exactly call them out on it, but it was a carpal tunnel syndrome brace. It's a brace I use for when I type too much. And yeah, that's Punk is going to be back a lot sooner. And if McIntyre's not re-signing, presumably his last show would be Backlash.
In France.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's how it usually goes with, popular superstars, unless your name is, Brock Lesnar or Goldberg. I would think that would be, if he hasn't resigned, they're going to want all the extra time they can get.
Right. So maybe a contract extension. Drew may get Backlash out of the way, get Punk his W, and get him out. More or less, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're already talking about Raw and, what was going on in there. What did you think about that promo between Rollins, McIntyre, and Punk? Because everybody's talking about it.
First of all, we gotta acknowledge the genetic jackhammer in the room. Punk with that shot about immediate dig at AEW. Like April knows what I'm talking about. Like, yep, yeah, Phil, we all do. And then Punk ran into Drew about being called the Chosen One. Hey, who called you? Who called you the Chosen One? What was his name?
Right.
Because it is now forbidden to say Vince McMahon on WWE television.
Which is insane if you think about it.
This promo was not scripted. It was just outlined.
Right.
Is based in fact a little bit. Again, all great fiction is based in fact. It was. I mean, there was a lot of talking being done on Raw from everyone, and
when's the last time people talked over each other in a promo? You don't remember.
I mean, unless you're counting, the side promos that, the picture promos. But yeah, all they got was a general outline. And it was an explosive promo because all three men were explosive. The tension was, or rather the intention to make the tension seem uncomfortable was the intention. It's a tongue twister, I can't say that again.
And you forgot the little snippet of Punk actually mentioning Jim Cornette as well. The experience in drive-thru, or the names of the podcast Jim Cornette does on a weekly basis. And I also love the fact that they were trying to lead the crowd into wanting Punk to do commentary, and the crowd did not go for it. They were referee. But
because they're thinking like us, that Punk is more ready than he lets on.
It would not surprise me if he has trunks underneath his clothes and says, "I'm medically cleared, let's make this a triple threat."
That would definitely make it memorable. Then, if you talk about that, you have to kind of talk about what was said about Senor Money in the Bank.
Yeah, we haven't been talking about Senor Money in the Bank. He hasn't even really been in the conversation, has he?
No. And that's a bad thing, and probably going to get worse now, considering what Rhea Ripley said. By the way, Rhea's stink face is now my screensaver, my wallpaper. It's implanted in the back of my mind.
In the back of your eyelids.
The back of my eyelids. I have it projected in 40,000K on the side of my building. I have it projecting in the sky. You know, it's the ass signal.
Will you stop it?
But the thing that Rhea said that kinda takes the wind out of the sails of Damian Priest is he may the sentence, he may even decide to cash in on Logan Paul.
When did she say that? Was that like on an interview or something?
This was a few days ago.
Okay, so not like on TV.
No, not on TV.
Well, that is not a good comment on her part.
Here it is. 3 days ago, Rhea Ripley. Okay, this was actually on Impulsive. This was actually on Logan Paul's podcast.
Okay, well that makes more sense.
So, yeah, it was more of a... I take it as more of a joke if it hadn't happened before.
Well, I mean, it's all context is king, right? And the context was she was on Logan Paul's podcast. You know, obviously Logan is a jawjacker, and she wanted to shut him up. So I could honestly understand where, you know, people might, you know, make assumptions there, but unless it's said on like Raw or SmackDown, I'm not going to necessarily take that into account. And good on Rhea for getting you off your Nia Jax kick. I'll say that.
I'm now gonna have a match with Shayna Baszler, and I guess the winner gets stink-faced. It can't be a loser gets a stink face because that's not losing to me.
Well, moving on to everybody's a loser in this situation. Double or Nothing will take place in Las Vegas once again. This time at the MGM Grand. The last 2 years it was at the T-Mobile Arena. 2 years ago, it was sold out with CM Punk and Hangman Page as the headliners, a $1 million gate. Last year, half of the arena was full, the other half was empty, which is, you know, AEW's motto nowadays. Is this a bad sign for AEW to say, hey, we have to go in a significantly smaller building because we're not selling tickets?
MGM Grand, for those who don't know, that's the Green Hotel you see in Vegas. I've actually stayed there. Rooms are pretty good. Pretty good. But the MGM Grand is not, it's no longer a pay-per-view worthy venue. And if you've ever seen Ready to Rumble, yeah, that's where the final scene is supposed to take place. With that triple cage match between Jimmy King and Diamond Dallas Page.
One of the greatest matches of all time.
I will rule you.
I I'm still waiting for Jimmy King to get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Well, he won't go in before David Arquette, that's for sure.
He might as well go before David Arquette. I think people would expect it more at this point.
Jimmy the King Lawler. The two prior, before the T-Mobile Arena, were in the MGM Grand.
Yes, but typically when you go into a bigger arena, you don't go back unless business is not the greatest. In my opinion.
This is just essentially a big friggin' mess. Yeah. And again, I attribute this to Tony Khan thinking there's immediate success. And that is the problem. And Eric Bischoff has been saying, what I've been saying this whole time about Tony is that he's not a promoter. He's not a businessman or promoter. He's a rich kid playing promoter.
Oh, yeah.
And that is still so much, still so very true.
You know, you want to talk about AEW having a problem? You have Edge and Christian headlining in Toronto, Canada, one of the biggest and best market for pro wrestling, with two guys that are actually from that province headlining, and you can't sell it out. How that speaks volumes of where your company is, no?
Yeah, it absolutely does. It's the funny part is, if we're really considering, let's say, consider AEW to be WCW, and let's say how long was WCW around in the Monday Night Wars? Roughly, it was extended to March 2001, which makes it
Could you really even
a little less than 6 years.
Right.
A little less than 6 years. AEW's coming up on 5. So
Forget WCW. How long did TNA last in their Monday Night Wars against WWE?
nobody knows because they didn't believe TNA to be serious competition at that point. They picked the wrong time to try.
I mean, at least they tried. They had a good roster on there, and they had a bit of a buzz on them. So, you know, if there was any time to pull the trigger, that would be the time. Unfortunately,
That was also the same time when they were kind of doing the Millionaires Club again.
the Millionaires Club?
There was at the end of WCW, you had all the guys with the top paid guys in one stable. The Millionaires Club, that's what they called it. And then in TNA, there were, I forget what the hell they called it.
Main Event Mafia?
Main Event Mafia. Yeah. So, again, this is just, it's getting, it's pretty soon the bottom is going to fall out from under Tony Khan.
Is it though?
And
Because if you have unlimited money to give, does it really... Are you going to learn your lesson, essentially? You know what I mean?
well, first of all, I would really hope that, there isn't, unlimited money. Simply because if that's the case, then the pro wrestling industry is kind of screwed. Because we won't get true competition and, another company trying to get on that level and learning from what they do wrong to present themselves as a better option.
Well, I don't think anything is going to become competition for WWE at this point. That just is what it is. But I don't want a wrestling company that competes with WWE. I just want another wrestling company that does well, that just tells good stories and delivers good matches. And because obviously that's how you build a fan base and an audience, and what makes you grow upon what you already have. AEW does not tell good stories. They do not deliver good matches. And it's been quite some time since I've watched one of their events. I've been to AEW Double or Nothing when CM Punk was headlining Hangman Page. I would not make that travel to Las Vegas again to an AEW event, is considering what they have lined up nowadays. And I won't go to AEW. They're going to be that Wednesday in the Kia Forum. I'm not going to that show either. Like, I have no desire to see the people they're offering. I mean, I like Okada, but I've seen Okada. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah, they have a problem, to say the least. Not a problem for them, at least, is Jake the Snake Roberts said that he re-signed with AEW for another year, as on-air talent and doing backstage work. What he does backstage, I have no idea. But I'm happy for him that he got another check from the billionaire, and he doesn't necessarily have to do a lot. What say you, Scooter?
Another, re-signing means that Jake is staying around for another year, and he's not getting back into old habits. I think when we lost Scott Hall, that really opened Jake's eyes in terms of, having a contract is great. Having a life, being able to breathe is better. And hell, you know what? I wouldn't mind if Jake was, teaching everybody DDP yoga.
I think he does DDP yoga. I don't necessarily think he.
Did you ever see the which one was it? Because there were a couple of thing about Jake's recovery under DDP's care.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, I think he does DDP yoga. I don't think he teaches DDP yoga.
He's not a DDP yogi.
Yeah. He'll eat DDP yogurt, but maybe that's DDP's new venture. DDP yoga and yogurt. It tastes like diamonds.
Flavor, the search for more money.
Like I said, I'm happy for Jake. Surfacely, I'd like to see him on TV a little bit more than he has been. Last time I saw him, he was on their last paid preview, the Revolution. And I didn't even know he was still employed there, so...
Yeah, he's still in the corner of Lance Archer.
Yep. We see Lance Archer less than we see Brock Lesnar. But, yeah. Happy for Jake. Again, would like to see him a little bit more. If people were smart enough to capitalize on that, but hey, I'm not a billionaire, so I can't necessarily say it. On our last bit of news, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns, have seemingly finished up with TNA. They don't have contracts as of right now. And as of right now, it doesn't seem like they will be resigning, if you believe rumor and innuendo. This doesn't necessarily... Usually I say, oh, well, things are open, we could see where they're going, see what's happening. But if I'm being completely honest, is there any clamoring to see Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley in WWE or AEW or literally anywhere else that isn't TNA?
Well, considering that TNA has really been focusing more on the time splitters than the Motor City Machine Guns, for those who don't know, time splitters are Alex Shelley and Kushida.
Right.
And I don't know how many people will actually remember the fact that Alex Shelley and Kushida were actually a team in the Dusty Cup 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, that was their tag team in New Japan. They were IWGP tag team, junior tag team champions.
Yeah, but being a junior tag team champion is like being, the teenage world heavyweight champion. That's what being a junior world tag team champion is.
Okay, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, I just hate when the word junior comes before a championship.
Right.
It makes it sound less.
So you prefer light heavyweight?
Yes, or even some amalgamation of bantamweight, middleweight, featherweight,
Skinny bitch,
weight, downweight, overweight. The overweight championship. Ooh.
your first champion, Eddie Kingston.
With general manager Scott Steiner.
Because you're fat. You're fat, Joe. You're fat. That's one thing TNA has given us that is fantastic, and that is Scott Steiner promos. Or Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin maybe finishing up their careers in pro wrestling, or are they just going to be indie darlings for the next 10 to 15 years, or do you see that maybe WWE takes them as coaches at the Performance Center? Because it's definitely not going to be as, full-time wrestlers.
I see Alex Shelley as a coach. I don't see him as in-ring. I could see Chris Sabin being at least given an opportunity, but he's so far along in his career that he probably doesn't even need it now. And the thing is that they won't take somebody from TNA anymore, and immediately put them on TV. They got lucky with AJ and fell flat on their face with Mike Bennett. So,
I mean, I don't even think Mike Bennett was a part of TNA when he debuted for WWE. He was just a Ring of Honor guy.
That Money in the Bank.
Maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, he should up the same year as AJ. 2016.
But what I'm saying was he a part of TNA before he signed with WWE?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Obviously, that was a time I was not watching TNA, which is most of the time.
Yeah, and they wouldn't. WWE didn't want him coming in under his name, so they gave him Maria's last name. So
Right. And who remembers that time he pinned his pregnant wife to become the 24/7 champion?
Dr. Freud.
That was a great time to reintroduce Dr. Shelby. Oh.
Yeah, the bastard who said he loved Abby and then just never said anything else. Terrible therapist. 1 star.
Alright,
I'm pissed off at him.
While Scooter is changing his name to Karen, I I don't think it necessarily matters what Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin does at this point. It's not going to move the needle. What they really should do is just stay in TNA, maybe become an agent down the line for them. You know, in all honesty, just sit by the blind man and be happy with what you have rather than what you think you can obtain if you go somewhere else.
Maybe smoke a little crack.
Well, Matt Riddle is in New Japan right now, so I don't think.
I said crack, not meth.
I thought he did all of the things.
Matt Riddle does not discriminate against drugs.
And that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off-brands out there that are presenting low-quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high-quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE WrestleMania Extra Large. It takes place next Saturday and Sunday in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Lincoln Financial Field. I didn't know Lincoln gave financial aid to fields, but, you know, the more...
Whoa, terrible joke. Oh, man, that was so bad I think it gave me cancer. Jesus.
Shut up. Like I said, it takes place, next week, next Saturday, next Sunday, 2-night event like it has in the last 4 years. As a whole, what do you think of the matches that have been announced, at least?
Considering that the Andre the Giant Battle Royal will not be part of WrestleMania, it will be part of SmackDown, along with the Hall of Fame ceremony. It's really coming together quite well. If anything, it seems like it's getting bigger in terms of WrestleMania related events. At this point, WrestleMania is not a show; it is a convention.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, with more of the matches fleshed out, which, oh my god, which by the way, I think we were, I think we were right about, at least I was, about a certain, stone. I think the matches are really going to have to deliver. We know Roman and Cody can. We know Seth and Drew can. We know that the tag team match on night one is going to be a banger. You know, regardless
If The Rock remembers
of
the moves. And here's the thing, is that these matches are not finalized. And when we get into it, I'll mention it and everything. But supposedly there's also a mystery segment. Right.
A mystery slot planned for WrestleMania 40.
I mean, there's always,
Yeah, well, if the rumor and innuendo is to be believed, we learned what that mystery was this past Monday.
I don't
Cody
believe.
Cody got thrown into a truck between which two superstars, John Cena and Stone Cold. And apparently John Cena and Stone Cold, the route is for them to, be in Cody's corner on night one?
I mean, it would make more sense if Stone Cold came to help Cody, considering his history with The Rock rather than John Cena.
This is why I said I think it would make more sense for Triple H to just be in the corner.
Well, I mean, The Rock isn't doing anything on night two. Who's to say that Stone Cold doesn't, The Rock doesn't try to uphold the event? Stone Cold comes out, gives him a stunner.
I mean, could this be the year where we finally learn that Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan will go at it?
Oh God, no! Do not speak that into existence.
One match I always wanted to see, which would probably be, which would be a main event on any other pay-per-view except WrestleMania, is The Rock and Stone Cold against DX. Shawn and Triple H. The whole, it's back when, The Rock and Shawn Michaels were a dream match still. With Cena to be competing at Backlash then.
Which isn't necessarily confirmed.
Hell, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't put it past them if they attempted Cena and Cody at Backlash.
That's
They're
amazing.
not going to do it.
That's a SummerSlam or a Mania match. That's not a Backlash match.
Yeah, but it's a Backlash in France. It's the first pay-per-view in France.
So have two Americans headlined?
How many French wrestlers are there left besides Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? And technically, they're not French.
They're Canadian.
Speak it.
Right.
They're Quebecois.
Bring back Rene Dupree?
Let's put PCO. Let's put PCO in the main event.
Well, he can't lose to Kevin Nash. I'll say this.
Oh God, an Eiffel Tower of Terror match.
Oh God, no.
Oh God, what was it? A French strap match. Ooh. Full Metal Mining.
Will you stop it?
Oh, okay, somebody has to dress up as a mime for Backlash.
I mean, Seth Rollins already dresses like a mime on every Monday, so I mean, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities.
He dresses like a blind mime that got stuck in Liberace's closet.
Well, I'll say this.
Not a bad thing either.
I'll say this about the show as a whole, night 1 and night 2. Obviously, we don't know what matches are going to be on what night as of this recording, per se. But while there are legitimately good matches that could, steal the show, I don't feel like there was maybe enough build-up for a lot of them. Obviously, Seth, McIntyre, Cody, Roman, Rock, all of that has been, expertly done. But I kind of feel like the undercard hasn't necessarily gotten the love that it got last year when it comes to fleshing out the story 100%. Especially when it comes to Jay and Jimmy, because, I mean, the promo possibilities are endless, and it doesn't seem like we got, a lot out of them, story-wise. You know what I mean?
Yes. And the thing is that here everything was kinda already happening. It just wasn't essentially made official. So, kind of running off the idea that a match has to be announced before it can be built up properly. And that's, I don't consider that the case here.
That's not what I meant.
But I honestly don't think they actually had Jimmy and Jay in mind for at least one-on-one at Mania.
I think that this was the plan since August, SummerSlam.
I think this was Plan B. After Punk getting injured.
Well, we could definitely play, fantasy booking all we want, but we have the card in front of us. And one of those matches I kind of feel that just kind of got drawn together last minute was a match that was announced last night on SmackDown, and that's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar.
Yeah. Now, remember what I said last week?
Yeah.
And how I forgot that they had actually faced each other at WrestleMania 39, and it looks like it looks like booking did too.
It kind of, in my... Oh, continue.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Okay. Is this their way of getting Dominic out of the way? For Rhea and Becky, or even a tag title match.
I think it's just getting him on the card because they didn't have anything for him. You could all, his issues with Rey Mysterio are never not going to go away. I mean, he is his father. So you could always run it back, but I didn't necessarily like the way that they decided just to throw him into this. It kind of seems a little cheap, if I'm being honest.
I mean, like, why did Dominic need to be the guy attacking Rey? That does not make sense. Considering that.
Why couldn't this have just been a one-on-one match between Escobar and Mysterio?
Because the WWE isn't confident enough in Escobar to have a one-on-one match at Mania that will keep the crowd enthralled.
I don't know about that.
Having Dominic involved now equals an instant audience reaction.
I mean, obviously, yeah, having Dom there is going to get a reaction. But they wouldn't put him on the WrestleMania card if they didn't believe in Escobar. You're saying, not being able to deliver, a crowd reaction, case in point, Karrion Kross is nowhere to be seen on this card, so...
because he's gonna... There's gonna be probably a six-man tag on the pre-show, if anything. Lashley and the Street Profits against Karrion Kross and AOP.
But I mean, if it...
but after watching it after watching SmackDown last night, part of me was wondering, are they actually going to try and pull this? Part of me thought, are they actually going to try and do another War Games match?
No, they would never do that.
I mean, hey, if they could do a Hell in a Cell match now outside of Hell in a Cell, even though Hell in a Cell wasn't actually, an event until 2011, it's, again, I don't think they're that happy with Escobar's reaction, but they want him to succeed. They're trying to make Escobar him Eddie.
What's...
And with Andrade back and being recruited by Dominic, maybe there's something underneath this.
Huh. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. It does kind of just seem like it was drummed together. If there was anybody that they didn't believe in, I would say that it was the rest of Legado, Fantasma, and LWO. Considering that, you know, this was the faction that were rivaling with each other. And who's in the match? Dominic Mysterio, a Judgment Day guy. So
they could have really paid tribute to Lucha Libre here, done Lucha Libre rules.
yeah, but I mean, like, this WWE crowds know what that is. Well, anyway, who actually wins the match?
Alright, and before I give my opinion on the winner, just think about this. Rhea and Dominic out, Andrade and Charlotte in. Judgment Day.
How is that going to work with Rhea?
Who knows?
Okay.
But if Andrade, if recruited, someone's gonna have to go, and Dominic's gonna think it's JD. But then it's gonna turn out that it's Dominic, and Rhea is coming to his aid. And last night on SmackDown, Rhea was actually sticking up for Dominic, the Priest.
Well, I mean, he is for Latino.
Is there something you need to? Is there something you need to say to Dominic? And then Rhea said, "Is there something you need to say to me?" And she had such a look of concern on her face that it just made me think of it. Either way, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, of all people, I mean, again, Dragon Lee in this seems about just as random as teaming Dominic with Escobar.
Well, they want to promote, obviously, Lee to try and get him to be, they have aspirations for this guy. So I get that.
The only thing missing from this, the only thing missing from this is Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah, I would say so. Who wins the match, Screw?
Ray beat Dominic at 39, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dominic and Escobar.
I agree. Alright, another match made yesterday on SmackDown is Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi will be taking on Dammit Seatrill, Asuka, Dakota Kai, and Kairi Sane. Jade Cargill making her debut in a six-man, okay, but
why not?
don't you want to see Jade in a one-on-one match?
I mean, giving her her first one-on-one match at Mania is something they've learned to not do, thanks to, Dirty Dongo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nobody will get, their first match at WrestleMania unless, they're a, worldwide celebrity.
Right. Bad Bunny, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a way to get Bianca on the card. Is this the best way to use her? Maybe not, but
not considering that, the women's title matches, honestly, they have more build to them than I think any WrestleMania prior. And then, I'm including 35. These two, those two women's title matches have more story in them, than ever before. And the trope, I guess you would say, of the stable is, for the person in charge, who has a match, you got to give the rest of the stable a match, so that there's no lot. So there can at least be a logical reason that they don't show up during the match.
Unless it's on a separate night.
Yeah. This, I'm absolutely fine with the six-man tag. You get Bianca and Naomi, for WrestleMania back. Jade's first WrestleMania as well. I mean, this is... Some might say this is just to kind of satiate the DEI crowd. Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Oh, because you have,
you have two African American female superstars.
Dre and two Asians.
Three as a team. Two, making one making their return to WrestleMania. One making the WrestleMania debut. You have and on the other side you've got Dakota Kai.
Well, the way I look at it is...
Asuka and Kyrie have been on WrestleMania together, so...
Well, I mean, you have, you say diversity, you have Drew Blackwell against two Asians and a charity case in Dakota Kai. I mean, the charity case is a little bit more harsher, I'd say, but maybe funnier as well.
I mean, that's what people from New Zealand are called, Kiwis, so...
Yeah, that's correct.
But Jade can, do the hope spot and whatnot. Jade can, take the match home, showcase a little bit of power, and then afterwards, boom, she can go right into being a heel. And start feuding with Bianca. Naomi would get caught in the middle, which is going to be the case. Could this end up being like kind of a double turn, if possible, down the line, where Bianca, starts siding with the Profits and Lashley after your B-Fab was taken out last night? There's a lot of promise in that 6-woman tag, not just for the match, but for the future, involving most of those women. Bianca, Naomi, and Jade for the win.
I agree. Jade Cargill pins Dakota Kai. And with that, Asuka has another loss at WrestleMania. Alright, let's get into the singles matches. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I don't believe there's any stipulation attached to it, so it's just a singles match. Do I think this is going to be the last time they wrestle? Probably not. Is it going to be a good match? I definitely think so. I think AJ will win this. I don't necessarily think LA Knight needs a W at this stage to be more over than he already is, no?
See, with every WrestleMania, you have your upper card match. There's no title, no stipulation. This is it. AJ Styles, LA Knight. I can't help but think that this is just so Styles and Knight are on the card. I kind of believe that they thought LA Knight was going to fizzle out in terms of popularity.
And he's probably more over than he was 6 months ago.
Yes. And I would... You know what? I would say AJ. Considering the fact that supposedly AJ is going to debut new music.
They do want some?
What?
They do want some?
Did. They want some. Yeah, they really want some.
Come get some. It's yum yum.
AJ wins. That makes me think LA Knight wins Money in the Bank, cashes in that same night.
Okay, how did we get to Money in the Bank? Let's focus on Mania.
Because AJ winning here would mean a title match down the road if Knight were to win Money in the Bank and cash in immediately. And I really believe it's Knight's year, so I will go with I'm going to go with AJ to win just based on my future booking skills.
Well, while you were, deciding who you thought was going to win the match, I actually changed my mind. And I'm going to go with LA Knight to win, mainly because there's another match on this card where the bad guy has to win. And if all the bad guys win, then it's not WrestleMania and it's not a happy ending. You kind of understand, kind of get where I'm going with that?
Yeah, but ever since WrestleMania 2000, we were never... Happy endings at WrestleMania were never guaranteed anymore.
True, but, I mean, it was still a rare occurrence. But, back to, let's get to the... I'm going with LA Knight now. And now to our other special singles match on the card, and that is Jimmy versus Jey Uso, brother versus brother. Who wins, Scooter?
It's the 15th anniversary of the last brother versus brother match at WrestleMania, and the 30-year anniversary of the first brother versus brother match at WrestleMania. Part of me is thinking, should they have put Solo in this, or are they waiting to do that?
I mean, this sounds really stupid to say, but the history isn't with Solo, it's with Jimmy and Jey.
Yeah, I'm saying eventually.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, there has to be a triple threat match.
Eventually.
Maybe even a fatal four-way with Roman.
I think that's pushing it, but maybe a triple threat with Rikishi as the referee.
Soon enough, we'll have an all-Samoan Royal Rumble.
You know, that could be very possible, considering how many of them there are.
That being said, I don't see why Jimmy would win this one. Jimmy has... You know, there was a point where Jimmy was the one that looked like he was going to be the breakout singles guy.
The only thing he was breaking out of is jail, considering how many times he got DUIs.
And the fact that Jimmy is not as good at cutting promos as Jey is. He's not. And, you know, it's like Jimmy's of the mindset, oh, if any of the bloodline does it, that means we all did it. You know, it's a weird case of stolen valor, if you will, but Jimmy's a stooge at this point.
He's been a stooge for quite some time.
Yeah, but it's Jey is top of the card.
Main event, Jey Uso.
Jimmy is below mid card at this point. They haven't given Jimmy as many matches as they have Jey, which is the mistake here. That being said, I really wonder if they're going to try making Jimmy and Jey actually look completely identical head to toe, including hairstyle and facial hair, and try to convince Solo that one is the other.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, hey, some twin magic.
That is so bad on so many levels for so many reasons. So you're going with Jey.
I'm going with Jey, and I don't think there has to be another match between Jey and Jimmy after this.
Okay, so you brought up that it was the 15th anniversary of Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy at 25. Who won that match? Matt Hardy, the heel. And it's the 30th anniversary of Brett versus
Brett.
Owen. Who won that match? Owen, the heel. If we're keeping on trend here, then that means Jimmy is going to win this match. And I'll go as far as to say, Jimmy needs to win this match. More so than Jay does. Jay's over like Rover. The people love him. He's going to win some type of championship in 2024. That's like almost locked and set in stone at this point. He doesn't need a win at WrestleMania here to stay relevant. Jimmy is basically on life support. If he can't find his niche to, start at his own singles career, it has to be here against Jay. If it doesn't happen for him, well, at least they could say they tried with a big win against Jay. But, if Jay just beats him, then it's it was over before it begun for Jimmy. So, for all of those reasons, it has to be Jimmy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm presuming that this is going to lead back to Jay and Roman in a non-title match. Almost like a Samoan gauntlet.
Tribal rules match?
Yeah, tribal combat, your bloodline rules, whatever,
Whatever you want to call it.
I absolutely see your point.
Hey, let's get. Oh,
Seeing Jimmy, Jimmy really has to prove he can hang outside of a ring. His talent in the ring is not what's in question to me.
okay, well, let me ask you this. Did anybody have money on Matt Hardy to beat Jeff at 25?
I'm not sure how many people even remembered that match was happening. Keep in mind they had an I Quit match at the next one.
I think it was Extreme Rules.
No, the Extreme Rules was WrestleMania.
No, I mean the paid preview Extreme Rules.
Yeah, but no, it was Backlash.
Backlash was still in 2009?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, somebody that...
So, you know what? I'll go with Jimmy. I'm going with Jimmy.
Oh, so I have swayed you.
Yes.
Alright, that brings us to, a triple threat match for the United States Championship, Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. You could say that this is a waste of Randy Orton's time. I don't think anybody would tell you you're wrong. But what say you, Scooter? Who wins the match?
Oh, man. Does Randy losing here kill any momentum he has to get back to the world title? No, probably not.
No, he's Randy Orton.
Randy Orton is bona fide at this point, so.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens between Raw and SmackDown, and what went down at WrestleMania last year.
That's right.
We might be looking at a somewhat similar ending celebration to WrestleMania 20.
Well, neither of them are going to main event, so that's unlikely.
Well, I mean, but still, they would still celebrate. So if Logan is going to stay, if Logan is actually going to really stay around and have a number more matches, then something has to happen where it's not just random schmuck we don't know handing in brass knucks, or it can't be KSI in a friggin' Prime bottle costume again, which is probably something they will do.
It should have been Jack Tomlinson.
No, somebody will come out in a Prime bottle, but we won't be able to know who it is because whoever it is has their mouth duct taped on the inside. And turns out it ends up being that Brass Knucks guy, and Kevin Owens got to him before Mania.
Oh, that would be nice.
I'm gonna go with KO.
I agree. KO for the W on Logan Paul. Randy Orton not in the mix, not a factor. Randy Orton doesn't need it, and I could make the argument Kevin Owens doesn't need it at this point, but the real rivalry here is between Kevin Owens and Logan Paul, not, Logan Paul and Randy Orton. I could make the argument that this was Ricochet's match to be in, but, his fiancée is more over than he ever will be, so, he lost that spot. Alright, six-pack tag team ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. You got the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tomato Ciampa. The Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth versus the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller versus New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates. Who wins, Scooter?
Well, no matter who wins, pronunciation loses. The clear money is on Awesome Truth. It's the Truth's WrestleMania moment, and it's likely going to be his first big one and his last. I mean,
First and only.
The man is 53 years old.
Still looks fantastic.
Yeah, so absolutely.
You could say that he's more over at 53 than he was at 23.
But with Theory and Waller in this, I I can see them winning and just being, just pissing everybody off. You know what? Screw it. The tag titles need to come off. Balor and Priest, and once they do, you gotta split them back up. So I will go Awesome Truth for the win.
Well, you got a six-pack challenge, but you forgot to mention that there might be a seventh tag team in this match. The last time there was a ladder match at WrestleMania, the Hardys showed up and won the whole shebang.
Oh God. They were. Well, that was a genuine surprise. Two, it became a fatal four-way as opposed to a seven-pack challenge. But do you really think they would pull something like they did at WrestleMania 33, and with who though?
No, probably not. That being said, who's the good guys in this match? DIY, nobody would care if they won the championships. Kofi and Xavier are well past their expiration date at this point. And New Catch Republic, not awful, in my opinion. So yeah, Awesome Truth would make the most sense. If it's not, Awesome Truth, then I would have to go with the New Day, considering that they've never won at WrestleMania. I could make the argument they don't even have a WrestleMania moment.
32.
Coming out of a box of Bootios?
Yeah, and getting stunned. Getting Stone Cold to dance.
Could you really call that dancing, though?
I call it a moment.
Oh.
Hey, that's a moment that actually launched a catchphrase so popular it launched a breakfast cereal. With ass in the title.
You mean, Daddy Ass's ass-O's didn't sell?
I mean, there were Bootios, and then there was Bootios, Dingleberry Crunch.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, but I thought, the next evolution of that product would be with dingleberries. I mean, come on.
Let's get into the next match.
I mean, is it possible AOP would strong arm their way into the match?
They're not smart enough to do that.
But Paul Ellering is.
Yeah, but his eyes are too focused on Scarlett at this point. Alright. We got the Intercontinental Championship match, Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Who wins?
Yeah, people are kind of upset that this is Gunther versus Sami Zayn instead of Gunther versus Chad Gable. They're getting Gable involved in this, which really makes me think Gable will be made a part of this at Raw in Brooklyn on Monday.
But they already signed a contract.
If it was Chad Gable, I'd be way more confident that Gunther is losing. The fact that it's Gunther and Sami Zayn tells me Gunther is absolutely winning. And we must also remember that Sami Zayn has already won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania.
Against Daniel Bryan at 36.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, what I could see is KO winning, Sami losing, and Sami turning heel.
No, they're not going to turn Sami heel.
Alright, fine. KO heel turn. He's getting up there with the Big Show in terms of turns.
They're not even on the same show.
Yes, but there's going to be a draft after Mania.
Maybe, question mark. So you're going with Gunther, right?
Yeah, I'm going with Gunther, yes.
Alright, so hear me out. Gunther beats Sami Zayn, but it's a smash finish. Gunther has Mr. Fuji in his corner. He draws the sacrificial salt in Sami Zayn's eyes. Chad Gable comes to console him. Sami Zayn says, "Go get him, Tiger." He goes in there. He body slams Gunther, does the leg drop, wins the Intercontinental Championship.
I mean, it's funny. I started watching Raw in order from its debut, and I'm up to some odd weeks after WrestleMania 9. Hogan didn't body slam Yoko though. After that, it was literally a shot, a boot, leg drop. The idea of throwback finishes kind of makes me see the entire card from a new perspective.
I'm not saying every match is going to be a throwback.
I know, but I'm saying if they're celebrating 40 years of WrestleMania, presumably they're going to be showing, moments throughout the night.
If they have time, I highly doubt they are.
I mean, they're going to have plenty of video packages ready to go, about, WrestleMania statistics and whatnot. We'll get a ladder match statistic, that's for sure. But you know what? I could actually see them doing the Hogan Yokozuna finish with Gable and Gunther.
That's why I brought it up.
Gable, still the only man who has any sort of victory over Gunther. So, it's definitely Gunther. If Gable hadn't, gone over, I mean,
Alright, so, yeah.
I just remembered the seventh team.
The Hardys.
The seventh team is going to be the world's greatest tag team.
No pop. No pop. Big Pop, top guys out. Alright, so just to reiterate, you're going with Gunter, I'm going with Gunter, and then a Chad Gable impromptu match. Yes. Alright, then we got Io Sky defending the WWE Women's Championship against Bayley. Who wins, Scooter?
There is no other logical finish here other than Bayley winning. I'm honestly surprised they let Io's reign go on as long as they did.
That's definitely something that maybe would have happened in the McMahon era, for sure.
Because you wouldn't expect Asuka, who is clearly much more logically seen in a leadership role in a stable, and she's relegated to being the tag team of the stable.
But I could make the argument that Asuka is more methodical than that. She'll lean back, wait in, the rafters until it's time for her to strike when the opportunity presents itself. She's an opportunist in the end. My opinion.
The question is will Bayley have anyone on her side?
Well, depending on which night this happens, and the other match, with Damage Control, she might not have to worry about anybody. Scooter?
Yeah, I'm sorry, repeat that cut out.
No, I was saying, depending on what night the other Damage Control match is on, she might not have to worry about anybody.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the six-woman tag is, no, I would assume both on if both are on the same night, then the two matches have to be spread apart. If done separate nights, it's got to be Io going at it on her own. I wouldn't put it past them to Io rejecting the help of Damage Control and wanting to prove that she can do this on her own, because there's a big sense of honor behind this match.
Let me ask you this.
And,
Does Bayley need to win this title at WrestleMania? She has she's won titles at WrestleMania before. She doesn't necessarily need it. But, I mean, this is Io's, well, not her first WrestleMania. But it's her second WrestleMania, first in a singles match for, a major title. Wouldn't you want to kind of ride that out a little bit more and, kind of cement her? Or do you want to give Bayley another moment at Mania? Because I will say this, it's been a hot minute since Bayley has had, a title run in WWE. WrestleMania, SummerSlam, August.
So 7 months, roughly 8. I mean, you think 8 months was not enough to cement her as champion?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, winning at WrestleMania, is on another level than, losing at WrestleMania.
I mean, watch Bayley have Bull Nakano in her corner. Or, oh my god, Io has Bull Nakano, Bayley has Medusa, the life of Blaze. You know what? I should ask her if she's been approached for that. Oh man,
That would actually be cool. I don't think they'll do it, but it would be cool.
Here's the thing, and feel free to disagree with me on this, but Io Sky, I mean, the name change really kind of set her back in my eyes. Being Io Shirai was, that was solid. That was the name that was known.
The only
Io
thing
Sky,
that... Yeah.
and tell me if you disagree with this, is a mid to upper card level talent who got lucky with her cash-in. She's not exactly a proven main eventer in terms of putting her on in the main event.
100% disagree. Her only other title run in NXT, who did she beat? Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. She held that NXT championship for a damn near year, and she's had banger after banger after banger in NXT. I don't necessarily think that she has gotten to showcase that as much in WWE. But I mean, I kind of feel like she was kind of set back on course of being a main eventer when she wrestled Bianca in Puerto Rico, and she got a bigger reaction than Bianca did. So Io could go, and Io could have banger matches, when she's given, the opportunity to do so.
Is it possible they might debut another new talent here?
Like who?
If they can finalize signing Julia or Shuri.
Oh, so another Japanese Joshi wrestler.
Who else? Are we gonna get Tessa Blanchard? Either way, what I'm saying is, there's got to be some more to this from Bayley's, point of view.
And I think I found it, but I'll I'll let you decide on who you want to win this match first. Well, you think is going to win.
I'm gonna go Bailey. Bailey, I think Bailey needs this win, and I think as soon as she wins, we're gonna see the master of Hugonomics.
I wouldn't go that far, but I am going to go with Bailey as well, and it's for this reason alone. She could do more. She could do more for talent coming up as champion, putting them over, than if she wouldn't. I truly believe after Bailey finishes things up with Damage Control, your next challenger is Tiffany Stratton. And who could lead Tiffany Stratton to a banger of a match? It's going to be Bailey, and get her completely over. And, and then, after Stratton, you got Cargill and a bunch of other new girls that Bailey could really help as champion rather than as not champion. So for that reason, I'm going with Bailey.
You know what? I'm now thinking. I'm seeing what you're thinking, and you know what? I agree. I don't think it's Tiffany right out the gate. I think it might be. They might go with Bianca just to really take it to really cement Bailey's reign, and Cargill and Naomi before Bianca. Tiffany is somewhere in there. It's somewhere involved. I think her issues with Bianca are going past WrestleMania.
Well, right now, Tiffany doesn't have a match at Mania, so I highly doubt she is at this point. But, a match in France against Bailey, maybe. Depending on what happens with Io, or, we could see the rematch with Io at Backlash, and then, somewhere in there of Tiffany versus Bailey during the summer. But I definitely think this is leading to Bailey versus Tiffany. I don't think Tiffany's going to win the championship, but, it is going to elevate her. And that brings us to the Women's World Championship match. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Who wins, Scooter?
Rhea. Hands down.
Wow, not even a conversation.
Nope, there is no reason. Rhea has gotten into the mind of Becky, and Rhea has put Becky off of her game. When Rhea beats Becky, Rhea's gonna really believe that there's probably nobody left that can beat her.
And that being said, she's been champion for 1 year at WrestleMania. So, if not Becky, who? one name. But I would like to hear what you have first.
Charlotte, first of all, but that's way down the line. Could they presumably bringing up a few from NXT. I would say Raquel, except
she's off the roster right now.
Yeah. I mean, you could put Tiffany.
No, you can't.
No. I mean, I'd love to say AJ Lee, but
never.
You know what? You do Nikita Lyons.
I'm liking this so far.
Or okay, Nikita Lyons, Blair Davenport, Miko Satomura,
the original final boss.
Or more likely, oh God, I had the name. Hold on, I got it in my head. Hold on. I said Miko Satomura. Who else did I had? God, Nikita Lyons.
Blair Davenport.
Miko Satomura. And I had two more, and I can't remember the other one, but the other one in that, bring up Gigi.
In all honesty, is Gigi as over as she could be? I mean, she had that little hot rivalry with JC, but I haven't necessarily heard anything from her in quite some time.
Yeah, that's...
Well,
oh.
Let me...
Okay.
Carmella?
Carmella?
No.
Or Alexa.
Ooh. There's maybe an Alexa rivalry. But... Okay, so this is where I kind of splinter off with, Rhea's and Becky's head. Becky is the man. Becky is the face of the company. She is the Stone Cold if Rhea is the Rock at this point. And the main thing about Rhea, and this is a trend in her career, she needs a mountain to climb. That original mountain was Charlotte Flair, and that mountain eluded her for 3 years. And it's why Rhea is the way Rhea is now. So, if Becky beats her at Mania, then that gives Rhea a mountain to climb, I would say. So, but if it's not Becky to beat Rhea, which it would make sense if it was, the only other logical person in my mind is Liv Morgan. As much as I would love to say Liv had her moment as a champion. I really can't say that she had her moment as champion. She held the championship for what, 3 months with two smart finishes on Ronda Rousey and a fairly decent match against Shayna Baszler. It could be her crowning moment to beat Rhea. If that happens, it's more likely that will happen at SummerSlam than Mania at this point. But, that would mean we would have Rhea Ripley as champion for 2 years rather than 1 year, if they go Mania to Mania with Liv. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and kind of selfishly, I kind of want to see Becky win the championship as well. She arguably had a better 2023 when it came to match-wise than Rhea did. So, in my opinion, I think it would benefit more for Becky to win than Rhea. Okay, so she beat Becky Lynch. Well, what's next for her to do? Nobody knows. But if she has that question mark with Becky, then, you could throw it back. You could run it back. So, yeah, I think it's controversial, but I'm going to go with Becky. Alright, so you're Rhea, I'm Becky, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so then we actually go into the matches that we know have, that are going to be on night 1 and night 2, respectively. We got a tag team match. If Rhodes and Rollins win, all members of the Bloodline will be barred from ringside during the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match on night 2. If Rock and Reigns wins, the championship match on night 2 will be a Bloodline Rules match. We got the Bloodline, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Who wins, Scooter?
The question is this where we see the cracks start to form in the Bloodline's plan? And do we see, The Rock essentially facilitating, this downfall so that Cody can have an equal shot, which, regardless, doesn't matter, it won't keep the Bloodline away. I mean, if they're actually going to follow this, then, again, it's just a Bloodline. Which, I could see Paul Heyman striking a deal with Damian Priest. And heck, they might, Cody and Seth will win night 1, but Damian will come out of night 1 having cashed in and won. So, Seth drew Damian, and I'm going to assume that the ladder match is night 1.
Okay. So, who wins the match?
Seth and Cody.
Seth and Cody. Okay, well,
and with just the emphasis on, they're not looking to, Bloodline's not really looking to win this. They want to soften Cody up, and to a lesser extent Seth.
alright, so there's one thing you failed to mention, and that is The Rock did not get on a plane to fly to Philadelphia, go to Pat Orgino's steak, drive to the arena just to lose to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. It's his only match.
He knows it's better, goddammit.
Oh, well, in some people's opinions.
I've been there, damn it. I'm not.
Well, The Rock, you forget that The Rock is a very egotistical man, and that he likes to win his matches. And there's no way in the world The Rock, they're going to give Cody Rhodes a win on The Rock, and then night 2 give him a win on Roman Reigns. It's just not going to happen. So
Wait. Say this. Are you saying there's no way they're giving The Rock a win?
They're not giving Cody a win on The Rock on night 1, and then a win on Roman Reigns on night 2. And what does WWE love more than a straight, technical one-on-one masterpiece? They love their Gaga matches. They love their Smosh finishes. They love having a clusterfuckery of weapons and things like that. Me and you literally just saw WrestleMania 15 a couple days ago for, a watch-along. So, this is how I see it. Rock and Roman wins night 1 with some help from Drew McIntyre, maybe a Claymore to Seth Rollins, maybe a Claymore to Cody Rhodes. Who knows? But Drew McIntyre is going to play a factor in that match. The Rock is going to either... You know what? Let's go to full Monty. The Rock pins Cody Rhodes night 1. Makes it Bloodline rules. The odds are stacked against Cody. There's no way he could win. He has all of the members of the Bloodline against him. But in some desperate miracle from God, the will of Dusty Rhodes in his soul, he still comes out on top of Roman Reigns night 2, because maybe, just maybe, The Rock, I want to say, cost Roman the match, but maybe there's miscommunication that causes Cody to get the upper hand and get the W on Roman. So I kind of revealed who I think's gonna win night 2 of the main event, but yeah, I think Rock is going to beat Cody on night 1.
I can only think that if Rock actually gets the pin on Cody, then it's for a reason.
I mean, it's not exactly something you can't run back, in a singles match.
Yeah, I think, except for, I think Cody wants Bloodline rules. There's some outside guiding hands in this, but considering how long Roman locker room. Aside from Jimmy, Solo, and Paul, Roman doesn't have anybody else. And The Rock right now. I'd say it stands to reason that this is more than Cody fighting to complete his story. He's fighting so that new stories can begin. This is why I'm gonna spit a crazy idea here. A locker room rebellion. You know, Roman's looking for every way out. You know, and he can't. Nobody is there for Roman anymore. You know, Heyman will get taken out. Jimmy, taken out. Solo, taken out. Only Rock and Roman are standing. And while Roman and Rock are, you know, kind of standing back to back and whatnot, The Rock slowly turns around and looks at Roman, gives him the eyebrow, and then boom, rock bottom. And he gets the hell out of the ring. And we're back to an even playing field.
Well, you talked about, there potentially being, some legends coming. Maybe Seth help Age in helping Cody at night 2. Jay is definitely, a part of all of this. Depending on what night this match is, LA Knight, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and who hates The Rock the most? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Rock is protecting Roman. Stone Cold comes down, stunner, beer bat. Cody wins the championship, shares a beer with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
But then that's really like, that's saying, okay, it's a celebration for Austin.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, he would just give him a beer, sprinkle some Stone Cold dust on him and walk out. Maybe we could do what they did for Brett in 10, where everybody picks Cody up on their shoulders.
That's what I'm thinking. As Cody, the man who saved the WWE.
Well, it seems like we're both in agreement. Cody is going to win night 2 against Roman.
Yes, although I am lowering my expectations.
Yeah, considering that we were more or less all a lock on Cody Rhodes last year, and we know how that ended. Alright, so we got a little off track here. Main event, second to the last here. So let's talk about Seth Rollins defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre with CM Punk on commentary. Who wins that match?
Of course, we're assuming that Seth is still the champion going into this match.
Well, I'm assuming he is, for sure.
McIntyre's title losses, and then when he won them back, he's had quite a few of them where he would actually win them back. You know, going back to Randy Orton, that's the most recent one. Actually, I didn't realize yet Drew's only been a 2-time champion, so except Drew never lost this belt to Seth. So, with the outside factor of Punk, the possibility of Damian Priest changing the landscape of this match before it even begins. I'm gonna go with Drew.
I feel like it has to be Drew. Seth beat Drew the last 3 times that they wrestled. So, if this, it has to be Drew. The originally rivalry was with Punk and Rollins, but I feel like Punk and Drew far exceeded that in literally 2 weeks. And I feel like the championship being attached to a Drew McIntyre CM Punk match is a lot more interesting and has a lot more. It will have a lot more eyes on it than if Seth Rollins wrestles Punk at this point. So it kind of has to be Drew, I think. Especially obviously if he doesn't resign, then it's going to be Rollins. But it has to be Drew. Alright, I think we're all squared. Think that will conclude our coverage of WrestleMania Night 1 and 2. And this episode as a whole. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Nathan Niles. This Wednesday as we interview Zeke and Dino. And this Friday as we have a watch-along of Sebastian Seabass Finn versus Bateman with Seabass Finn. And of course, follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Scooter?
As always, find me on X at ScooterDust. The profile pic contest is still very much open. Identify what my profile pic on X is, and you will win a free year subscription to Peacock. Answers will be taken via direct message, and nobody has gotten it right as of now. Alright,
for Coleco Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.